Now, if you wanted to buy one of these Range Rovers, it will set you back around £100,000 in the used car market. Brand new, you probably have to part ways with somewhere in the region of £130,000. Now, if you don't have the money like me to spend on one of these, then you buy one of these. And it's my personal L322 2009 Range Rover Vogue SE, and I paid £3,300 for this thing, meaning I can buy 30 of these for the price of one of these. So let's compare cheap versus expensive / new. I'm Max Davani, welcome to Driven Plus. So let me tell you about this Range Rover here. It's a D350 Autobiography model, meaning it's the highest spec Range Rover you can buy, apart from the very expensive SV version, of course. But how good do these Range Rovers look? They've just got a great presence about them. And in terms of the overall design elements, it's very sleek looking. You know, considering it's a big car, it's not blocky. There's a lot of curves going on when you look at the bumpers here. It's all very smooth. Everything's integrated with each other. But this has a bit of sportiness about it because you've got the black badges, the black grills, this kind of orbit grey grill bit down here as well. And when we come on to the lights as well, they're very dynamic, they're very sharp, and that does set the front off a bit. Very nice. Moving on to the side profile of this car, there's two words: very black. Black interior leather, black exterior paintwork, black alloy wheels, and black calipers. Roger, I'm pretty sure you like black, mate, but these alloy wheels, 23 inch, they're absolutely huge. You've got these low profile tyres as well, and I've got to say, they do look good. And the side profile of this car is just great. It's got a great shape about it. Now, when we come on to the door handles, they pop out on the button there, which is very nice, and they go in after you drive, so it's probably better for aerodynamics. You've got these hidden window seals there, and you've got these exposed side skirts as well, and they're attached to the door. They're not a side step. Just gives the car a bit more of a stance. And when we come to the rear, ever so slightly, the roof does slope down as we come on to the back of the car. Now, when we come onto the rear of the car, one cool thing about it are the rear lights. Now, one thing is that they are hidden, so it works very well with the exterior paintwork of this car. But the fun thing is when you press the unlock button on the key, look at these lights here. Yeah, bit of a party trick, isn't it? Now, of course, this wouldn't be a Range Rover without a split tailgate. So, does it have one? Well, let's have a look. The boot opens via the key, and of course we do. It would not be a Range Rover without one of these. And look at all this plush carpet in here. It's beautiful. Let's have a look what Roger has left in the car for us to have a look at. A lovely McLaren umbrella, which I'm going to take home for myself. I'm joking, I'm not going to do that to you. He's also got a Volkswagen racing umbrella. He's had quite a few cars, Roger, hasn't he? But what features do we have in here? Well, the buttons are here, so you can lower the suspension, as it just did. You can also raise the suspension. Ooh. And you can also put the rear seats down, which does take about 5 years, because that the armrest takes absolutely ages to come up because it's electronically controlled. So I'm still pressing the button to go down. I just think it's better with a manual button from this point of view. Anyway, I'm bored of doing that. Stop it. One cool thing is that it has a well, this does have a tow bar somewhere, does it? So the car is now having a full-blown erection. So once that's in place, you can then press this button, close the boot, and it will now have a dance with all these lights, so you can test which lights are working on your trailer. See? Look how cool that is. So let's move on to my Range Rover, the good old L322, which many people call it the best Range Rover ever made. Now straight away you've lost that sleekness, but in comes the pronounced bumpers. But I think it's aged really, really well, and you do also get some nice modern touches, such as these LED daytime running lights down here, and you also get the silver cheese grater grille, which people call it, and the silver touches down here, silver badges as well. And fun fact about the L322 is that at the time of it being produced, it was the largest single piece of aluminium ever fitted to a production car. Now, the overall side profile, I think you can understand where the new Range Rover has got its design from. You can tell it's evolved from this one here. Now, this sits on 20-inch alloys, but it's wrapped with all-terrain tyres, and I think it pulls all-terrain tyres off really, really well. Do I think the new one could do the same? I don't think it could, but this just shows how rugged this Range Rover can be. And one thing this is also fitted with is mud flaps. It just shows that this Range Rover was built for a purpose, and that was to go into mud, off-roading, and also be used on the road. And you've got this kind of side grille here, which is it's a bit plasticky, that. And one thing I love about this Range Rover, it does not have self-closing doors like the new one, but you've also got that lovely door clunk. Classic Range Rover. Now, moving on to the back of the car, one thing you do get, because this is the facelifted model, are the updated rear lights, and they just look much more modern compared to the older L322 models, so I do, big fan of them. You also get a bit of a boot shelf here, which is also nice, so you can, I don't know, tie your laces, shall we say. A lot more of the silver badges come throughout there. Vogue SE TD V8 badge, that's one badge you do not get on the new one. You also get a V8, but do you get an electronically assisted opening boot? The answer is no. You have to have muscles to own this car. Oh yes, and it also has a beautiful split tailgate, and apologies, that's my boot, so I'll just hide that. But 535 litres, so you do lose quite a bit of space compared to the new one. And even when you bring it down, there's no button, it's just kind of let it, you know it's closed by that sound. So, under the bonnet of this Range Rover, it's just a 3-litre straight 6 diesel engine. Good old tractor engine, meaning it can run on red diesel. I'm joking, do not do that. Yes, but anyway, 345 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque, and a top speed of 145 miles per hour, and it uses an 8-speed ZF gearbox. Apparently, this will do a 0 to 60 time of 6 seconds, so let's find out. So it's time to launch the very luxurious Range Rover Autobiography, or dare I say, the yacht on wheels. Do not think this has launch control, so what we're going to do is just put it in, where are we, come on, dynamic mode, that's it, dynamic mode, and launch it from there. Here we go, what are we going to get? Ooh, it's got a bit of poke. Come on. 6.13 seconds. Well, how close is that? Do I go for run number 2? Ooh, let's try one more. Yeah, why not? Brake boost. Ooh, yes. Yes, come on. Beat the time. 6.48. That first run was actually really good. Back to the review. Right, time for a good old V8 motor. A rather unreliable V8 motor. You bastard cost me £2,000. Sorry, it's a little personal thing we have. Don't worry, I'm very nice to it most of the times. But anyway, it's a 3.6 V8 diesel engine pushing out 272 horsepower and 650 newton meters of torque. And apparently it has a top speed of 130 miles per hour. But I would not advise attempting that because bits do fly off, such as under trays. True story, yeah, wouldn't advise to do it. But this is mated to a 6-speed ZF automatic gearbox. And apparently it will do a 0 to 60 time of 9 seconds. So let's see. Alright, so it's time to launch my L322, and no, this does not have any sort of sport mode. However, it's got a sport mode for the gearbox, so let's see what we're going to get. I always close my eyes when I put my foot down as this, because it's let me down once before, but hopefully not this one. Pulls nice. What are we going to get? 55 and 60. 9.5 seconds. Sub 10 second car. I'm happy with that. Back to the review. Now, when we come on to the interior, what a place to be, and what a difference between this Range Rover and my Range Rover. And I don't know why everyone kind of complains about the build quality of these Range Rover, because this is absolutely solid. And one thing I have to mention is the different colours inside here. As you can see, the headlining is this lovely cream interior, and as you know from my M140i, I am a sucker for a cream interior, so I'm a big fan of that. And one thing which also breaks up the interior really nicely is this wood effect as well. This is just pure luxury, but I think the touch for me is the steering wheel. Look at the finish on that. It's like a yacht on wheels, this thing, and the leathers used are very nice, that you kind of just sink into the seats, and these are massage as well. When I work my way around this very confusing infotainment screen, I'm not even going to attempt to do it. I just like buttons, and we'll come on to buttons very soon. Does it have a fridge? No, it does not. This has not been specced with a fridge, but you've got this lovely velvet finish here. And, well, let's talk about the infotainment screen. It does have Apple CarPlay, which is a massive step up. Everything's touchscreen, your climate. I forgot how you work your way around this thing now. I mean, this is like, you've got all your 4x4 info, all your terrain response modes. So you've grass, gravel, snow, mud ruts, sand, rock crawl, wade, and you configure your modes as well. You've got a low box as well. Because Range Rover has built this with off-road in mind, and you've got this kind of floating driver's display here, which is digital as well, and say all the leathers used and your Meridian sound system as well, and you've got your lovely panoramic sunroof, which opens and lets a lot of natural light in as well. But let's go have a look what it's like in the L322. Now, when we come onto the inside of the L322, it has everything you could possibly need. For its time, this was so far ahead. It's got more tech than the new one. It's got television. How mad is that? This wins. Let's stop the review. This L322 is the best Range Rover to have ever been made. But when I say it's got everything you could possibly need, it's got electronically adjustable steering wheel, it's got heated and cooled seat, it's also got a heated steering wheel as well, and it's also got a digital driver's display. That's what I mean. It was so far ahead of its time. It's 2009 Range Rover. In terms of build quality, though, the new one is better. I will admit that. You know, this center console is a bit creaky, but that's all fine. But one thing I like about this is that it has buttons. Look how big the buttons are as well. It's so easy to navigate this cabin. You know, you just press one. The buttons are huge, so you can use them with gloves on. That's what I love about it. Still got a sunroof as well, let all the natural light in. And one thing I like about it is just the overall driving position as well, and that Range Rover badge does it for me. It, you know, just reminds that you are in something special. And of course, one thing which finishes off is the cream interior. Now, this does not have a fridge, neither does it have massage seats, but it does have Harman Kardon sound system. I have to say, the sound system is bloody mint to play your tunes. So it's time for the road test, starting in the rather luxurious D350 Autobiography. And what a car to drive. It's so much more comfortable, it's so much smoother, it's a better car to drive. Oh, just give me this. Oh, this is just absolutely beautiful. What a car, what a difference. And I love the steering wheel. The wooden effect, the wooden finish just makes it feel so premium. I feel like it's much more of an exclusive place to sit in this as well. You don't feel as exposed to the outside world compared to my Range Rover, because in my Range Rover it feels very big. It's got a big windscreen, and the distance between my head and say the sun visor is smaller in this compared to mine, so you just feel more executive. I think definitely you feel like a king. I feel like this is how a Range Rover should drive on a road. There's hardly any exterior road noise. The engine noise is kept to a minimum, which you don't even get. Well, on mine, you hear that V8 engine come through, you know, quite a bit. It just rides so smooth as well. It's so silky. It definitely is the definition of a magic carpet ride. And when my Range Rover came out 15 years ago, it was the king of the road. You know, the presence that gave off. Has it changed 15 years later? I don't think so. If you're looking to buy an SUV, top of the pop is the Range Rover for me. That's my opinion. I mean, even when you come to a set of corners, now this is a big car, it's got to be 2.5 tons, but it's just so much easier to chuck around compared to mine. You don't feel the weight as much as in my car. Well, this is the better car. Is it the better Range Rover though? How I said car. Is it the better Range Rover? Well, let's find out, and I'll see you in the L322. You see this? It's nowhere near as smooth as what the new one is, but I think this is what a Range Rover should be about. Now, it's still a smooth ride, but it's a bit more firm than the newer one. But you just get a bit more feedback, and it just has that bit more of a rugged edge to it compared to the new one. Now, this is not very good in corners at all. It loves to lean, and you can feel it's a heavy car. It weighs about 2.7 tons. But I just get the feeling that this will do a better job at being a Range Rover. It's still luxurious from the outside. If you take it through a muddy field and get in with your muddy boots, you wouldn't be bothered. However, if you did the same with the other one, I'd cry for getting a speck of dirt in that car. That's just my opinion, though. In terms of how they compare, it is pretty much night and day. That new one is an absolute dream to drive. This does feel a little bit old now in terms of the gearbox, 6-speed, the dirty diesel. It's old school. Some people will love that. Some people would prefer the new one. So what's my verdict on the two cars? Well, obviously, if you can afford the new one, you can afford one of these. So if you can afford to get a new one, get both and enjoy both Range Rovers. And if you can't afford one, like me, I'm pretty sure that this L322 is bang for buck a great value luxury SUV, and it still is in 2024. It gives you everything you could possibly need. What would I rather go home with? Well, if I had the money, I'd have the new one. But this is still brilliant. I'd like to say a massive thanks to Roger for letting me get a review on the new Range Rover today. So thank you very much, mate, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which one you'd have in the comments below. And even if you did have the money to buy the new Range Rover, would you still buy that, or would you save your pennies and go for something like this? Click that subscribe button, leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. See you soon.